What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 24. So I know Game Week 23 hasn't concluded yet. We still have that Man City game coming up. I myself bought in and captained Erling Haaland, so fingers crossed that pays off after the Ollie Watkins vice captaincy. So don't worry, in the team selection coming up late in the week, I'll give you guys the most up-to-date rank as possible. Obviously, I'll give you guys an update as of Game Week 23 now, and show you if we got a red arrow or a green one. I'll then jump into all that good stuff for the upcoming Game Week 24 planning. That's the transfer plan and the team selection, as luckily we now have confirmation that Liverpool also double in double Game Week 25. So if that's what you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So let's go over that quick review of how Game Week 23 is currently going. It's actually been a pretty average game week for my own team, a little bit of a grey arrow actually, as I've only risen in rank by 3k. So yes, about 108k to 105k, it's not the biggest green arrow in the world, but I guess it is a green at the end of the day. And let's see if that green arrow can get any bigger after tonight's fixture. So talking about that, I've got the two Man City assets, Phil Foden and also Erling Haaland as my captain. So let's see if these two assets actually give me any points tonight. So yes, I did bring in Erling Haaland and captained him. Was that the best decision in the world? Let's see what happens tonight if he does start. But if he doesn't, this might look like a pretty bad one. I'll showcase why that is after you guys see the rest of my forward line. But fingers crossed Phil Foden and Erling Haaland do quite well. The one opportunity I definitely will take is if Phil Foden or Erling Haaland misses out through either injury or they just get rested. And that's because my first bench option, Garnacho, got a 16-pointer. So yes, Garnacho is sitting on my bench, so Phil Foden misses out, or Erling Haaland misses out, and bonus points if Haaland misses out, because Watkins is my vice captain. So let's see what happens tonight. I'm pretty sure both these options will probably get minutes, but I'll be pretty happy if Garnacho comes off the bench. Now I know what you guys might be thinking, do I regret this choice? Not at all. When you guys see my midfield department and my forward line, Garnacho is definitely the one that I wanted to bench, as United and himself have looked pretty bad. So you might have to take that on the chin, especially as I said if both these two players get minutes, but it is what it is in FPL sometimes. Other than Garnacho though, no points here. Areola with 1 point, Saliba with 1 point after conceding to Liverpool, and then finally Lascelles is still injured, but probably would have been on 0 anyways because Newcastle conceded 4 goals. So because Areola was here and talking about kind of Lascelles and Newcastle, you guys can see Dubravka on 1 point only. That's thanks to himself getting a save point, as he lost 2 points conceding 4 goals in that Luton match. So don't you know what's happening with that Newcastle defense? They don't really seem that great at the moment. Started the season off so well, but the XG conceded has gone off a cliff, and I'm waiting to see when they actually turn it around. So for the time being, no clean sheets from our goalkeepers, I think. West Ham and Newcastle not putting up good defensive numbers, and the rest of the defense was actually pretty bad. So let's start off with the man that absolutely betrayed us, and that's Konza with the 1 point appearance. You guys might be wondering, why is Konza only on 1 point if they kept a clean sheet? Well, he came off on the 59th minute. So yes, picked up an injury and was subbed on the 59th minute, so 1 minute away from racking up the extra 5 points, which would have taken us to a green arrow of about 20k. So massively disappointing game week, especially when most defenses like Estupiñán and Trent didn't really do well. Konza was a massive differential. So I guess that was kind of the start of a pretty bad game week. We then had Pedro Porro, as you guys know, conceded 2 goals in that Everton game, and his colleague Udogi's been getting all the attacking returns. So definitely on a potential sell for Pedro Porro, the attacking threat isn't there at the moment and the defensive threat is simply non-existent. So those two factors kind of equal a sell. Then our last defender is going to be Gabriel, so yes, a -1. If Konza wasn't bad enough, Gabriel scored an own goal and got a yellow card, but I will say I definitely thought he would get the assist for the Martinelli goal. I know it might have been a defensive error, but I don't think Alisson or Van Dijk touches the ball, and therefore Gabriel got the second last touch. But I've seen a lot of kind of talk over on Twitter, people saying that if it is a defensive kind of mistake, there's no assist. So the bad luck for Game Week 23 just goes on. So our defensive department racked up a total of 1 point, 2 points if you're including Dubravka. Not the best defensive performance. Luckily, the redeeming factor was definitely our midfield department. Richarlison scored a massive 15 points after 2 goals against his former club, and he seems to be in great form at the moment. So this has raised some question marks because I was looking to take him out maybe Game Week 24, Game Week 25, but on current form, he looks pretty good. So just happy I brought him in those game weeks ago, been a massive kind of threat, and with Son coming back, I think he's even undroppable. Then next up, Cole Palmer, who scored a goal quite early on into that Wolves game. Chelsea ended up losing that game 4-2, but Cole Palmer got you kind of captain as some returns, and he's just great value at his price point. Now a little bit worrying about Chelsea because their performances haven't been great, but Cole Palmer is still ticking along nicely, and as mentioned, he's just so cheap. Saka also ended up performing against the Liverpool side, kind of a lucky goal at the end of the day, but I'll take it, and that's why I suggested maybe keeping him because his form has improved recently. Also racked up 2 bonus points, which you love to see, in a pretty strong overall Arsenal performance. So let's see what happens tonight. Will Phil Foden make it a full house of midfield attacking returns? Or what he can do is just simply miss out, get rested for the game, and then Garnacho comes off for the 16-pointer. Let's see if our forward department got any better. Unfortunately not, with Dom Solanke only with the 2 points. Very unlucky Cam C blank if you guys did go there with the armband. Don't you know what happened in this fixture? Bournemouth have actually been playing pretty well, but I think this game might have been too out of the box. But from an overall point of view, with Dom Solanke's price point, he can blank every so often. A little bit of a tough kind of point because I think a lot of people are looking at bringing in Darwin Núñez for the double game week. I myself included might be selling Dom Solanke. An option that's made himself almost unsellable at the moment is me Ollie Watkins with the massive 18-pointer, and yes, I did have him as my captain in the team selection last week. So between releasing that video and the Erling Haaland news, I did switch the armband. If you guys kind of watched the video and stuck with it, congrats on that massive haul. Wasn't really expecting 18 points. But as I said earlier on, currently my vice captain, if Erling Haaland misses out completely, imagine the points I'll get. That would just simply be insane. I just don't think I'll get that lucky for Game Week 23 though, so let's just hope that Erling Haaland does get some attacking returns. And if he does start, I'm pretty confident of at least 1 or 2. So let's see what happens tonight. In terms of my overall points, I guess it can only go upwards with my captain still to play. But comment down below how your game week is going. If you guys captain Ollie Watkins, how big has that green arrow been? And what's the total points and overall rank looking like? I think for most of us should have been a pretty solid game week, although the defense wasn't that great. Over all the teams, not many clean sheets and returns, but most of our midfields look pretty stacked. So let's see what happens tonight. Post your predictions. Will Phil Foden get some attacking returns, or will he be benched? I don't think my heart could take waiting for him to come off the bench. Now before we go over my transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 24, 2 free transfers and 6.9 million left in the bank, I want to give you guys the context of my current team selection. So yes, I will definitely have to make a transfer this week with 2 free transfers in the bank, and I'll showcase some potential moves later on. So starting off on our bench, and the bench is pretty much the same. Got Areola against Arsenal at home, tough game on the cards. Garnacho, yes, yet again I'm benching him against Aston Villa away. And I've got Konza for the reverse fixture. I don't trust either side. Then finally with Lascelles, I could potentially play him, but unfortunately he's injured at the current moment, and I can't see Botman or Shaw being dropped. I do have a little bit of Newcastle coverage though with Dubravka in the goalkeeper position, but I'm not really hopeful of too many clean sheets with that away game. Now backline makes the return of the Arsenal double up. Gabriel and Saliba overall against Liverpool, they look pretty strong, so I'm perfectly fine playing them against West Ham. The only option that might be on the receiving end of a transfer out might be Pedro Porro. He has Brighton at home. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet, and the attacking threat has dried up with Maddison taking some set pieces. So overall the defense doesn't look too bad, but I would like some improvements, and that might be where we use our free transfer. Now midfield department still looks pretty good. I've got Richarlison against Brighton, Palmer against Crystal Palace, Saka against West Ham, and finally Foden against Everton. I can't really see myself starting Garnacho over any of them. So all good fixtures in the midfield department. The forwards also look pretty strong. Got Solanke against Fulham, Watkins against United, and finally captain Haaland against Everton. Perfectly fine captaining Erling Haaland again if he gets minutes tonight. So the 3-4-3 formation, Dayvy does look quite strong. As mentioned, maybe Pedro Porro the only weak spot here, but I think the team actually looks pretty stacked. Now with 6.9 in the bank, obviously a big upgrade can potentially be made. Comment down below what's your prediction, what move you guys would do, and who would you guys bring in. So now let's go over the transfer plan. I've given you guys the context of my team so you guys can rewind it if you need to. I'm going to discuss some potential moves here. It might get quite complex, but I'll try and break it out as simply as possible. So with 2 free transfers and 6.9 in the bank, I'm forced to make a move, but this might be quite dependent on the double game weeks and the fitness of the Liverpool options, especially Mo Salah. So if you guys don't know, a reminder here that Liverpool do have a double game week. We obviously have the Man City one, which is going to be coming up confirmed, but on Saturday the Liverpool one was confirmed as well, and that's Brentford and Luton at home. So double game week of Brentford away and Luton at home is pretty strong from a Liverpool point of view, but just remember they do blank in game week 26 with the Carabao Cup final. Now the reason the Liverpool assets are quite attractive is Game Week 24, they host Burnley at home. It's a great fixture on the cards. You guys know how bad Burnley have been. So the reason that Mo Salah is quite an interesting one is because he's kind of a differential at the moment. Yes, if you guys have kept hold of him on your bench, you'll still have him, but the majority of managers have actually taken him out and spread the funds. So your Trent Alexander-Arnolds, your Darwin Núñez's, all these players have required some increased funds, and I've actually left myself enough money in the bank to bring Salah in with one free transfer. Now the latest that we have had from Klopp is that he will miss Game Week 23. That was expected, we saw that happen. But Klopp also said that he'll miss the next game, which is going to refer to Game Week 24. So if Salah misses Game Week 24, will he actually be fine for double Game Week 25? And that's kind of a big concern I have if I was to bring him in. Now the reason Mo Salah's fitness might be quite integral is that if he isn't back for Game Week 25, I'll probably use all my funds to bring him in, but if he's not, I plan to spread the money. So I just want to remind you guys about the Egyptian because, as mentioned, a little bit forgotten, but at the current moment I'm planning to go without him. But I kind of want to see if he does get minutes in Game Week 24, where would the triple captaincy lie? Would you guys captain Erling Haaland, or you guys go more differential and a triple captain for Mo Salah? So now let's go over some transfer plans without the Egyptian. As mentioned, the current news is that he won't be fit, and therefore I might go for some more secured options. So the first option might not be as secured as initially thought, but it's going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold, and the reason I'm saying that is he came off on about the 56th minute last night against Arsenal. Now Connor Bradley was actually expected to play this game, so does that mean that Trent would have been benched? And that's something I hope we get clarity on this midweek. But I mean, Trent is Trent, just such a great FPL asset. If he's fit for the Burnley at home game and fit for double Game Week 25, I think he might be almost essential, and therefore this might be the move that I actually do for Game Week 24. So the player I'll take out is going to be Pedro Porro for Trent against Brighton and Wolves. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet in either of those, and then here's the blank in 26. So I'm kind of trading in 2 fixtures for 3 fixtures, and in my eyes, that does pay off, but I would really like an update on the Trent fitness this midweek. Now another transfer plan I might be looking at is bringing in Darwin Núñez. I just think as an FPL asset, as an FPL attacker, probably the best option on the cards. Just get so many chances even though he doesn't convert them. Now I mentioned this early on over the team review, but the player I'll be taking out is probably Dom Solanke. I just feel like over the next 3 fixtures, even though he does have a fixture in blank Game Week 26, Newcastle and Man City might not be that great. But saying this, I mean Newcastle's defense hasn't been great, so maybe I do want to keep him, but I really feel like Darwin Núñez outscores him over the next 2. But this transfer might be one of those that does backfire, almost an Ollie Watkins to an Erling Haaland might happen again, but I do really want Darwin Núñez for the upcoming 2 game weeks. So this definitely is an option that I could go for. Do I do this move for Game Week 24 or Game Week 25 might be a question mark. So who do you think scores more in Game Week 24? Solanke against Fulham or Darwin Núñez against Burnley? Now the next 2 options I want to talk about for a potential transfer out are going to be from our midfield department, and that's Cole Palmer and also Richarlison. So the thing about these 2 options is both of them do blank in Game Week 26. We have Palmer who has Crystal Palace and Man City both away games before 26, versus Richarlison has Brighton and Wolves before the blank. Now out of these 2 options, I might be looking to sell one if I do make a midfielder transfer, so who would you guys take out between them? Yes, I will lose a lot of money if I take out Cole Palmer, but I guess 0.4, what does it mean at the end of the day? And if I don't want him back for the short term or the medium term, this might be a transfer worth considering. Then with Richarlison, might take both these 2 assets out anyways in Game Week 26, but I just feel like over the next 2 fixtures, Richarlison might be the better hold. Now if I was to look at replacements for these 2 assets, mainly Cole Palmer and Richarlison, there are 2 assets yet again that I'm looking at, and that's Kevin De Bruyne and Diogo Jota. So there is quite a big price difference between these 2 assets. Obviously Kevin De Bruyne comes in at plus 10 mil, Jota about 8, but both of them have a double game week in 25. The big thing however though is Kevin De Bruyne has a fixture in Game Week 26, and it's a pretty good one against Bournemouth away. Now yes, there are question marks about Kevin De Bruyne's fitness. Will he play both games in a double game week? I don't know, but it does look like he's increasing his minutes over the game weeks. Now Man City do play tonight against Brentford, just see how many minutes Kevin De Bruyne does get, but he might be quite hard to ignore with the fixture in blank Game Week 26. Now if I do choose to go for Kevin De Bruyne, the transfer plan where I can afford him is going to be without going with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that might be quite a tough thing to do. So if I do still want to go for Trent, Jota then becomes a cheaper option or an alternative, and I still feel like he's pretty decent for the upcoming game weeks. Now if Mo Salah does come back, we might have some rotation within that front line, so just watch out for that, and that's why I would hold off on the Jota transfer for as long as possible. So the transfer plans that I'm currently kind of going through, there's 2 options. The first one is to prioritize Kevin De Bruyne. The second one might be to prioritize someone like a Trent, or I could go for a cheap alternative like a Jota and then afford all 3. just trying to optimize my double game week players within these two squads, as I do feel like there's points to be had over the upcoming game weeks. Now what I will say about Kevin De Bruyne is that if I do make that transfer, I might hold off till game week 25 just to assess him tonight and against Everton in game week 24, and Richarlison and Cole Palmer have good fixtures anyways. But if I do like what I see in those next two game weeks, I think against Chelsea and Brentford, then against Bournemouth, he's a great asset. Just worried that he might miss one of the double game week games. Then with Jota, might even wait for game week 25 as well just to see where Mo Salah is, but then I have to make the Darwin transfer or the Trent transfer this week. So comment down below, which player would you guys rather prioritize, Kevin De Bruyne or Trent Alexander-Arnold? And do you think Jota is a much worse option than a Darwin? Because I could also just keep the forwards. Lots of kind of transfers to be had though, but as I said, mainly trying to optimize the double game week players. I've definitely got Man City and Liverpool on the mind. Now let me know your transfer plans in the comments down below. Who are you guys bringing in for the upcoming double game week? And is there an option I'm actually missing out on? But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Team selection coming up late in the week. Let's hope that Erling Haaland bangs and maybe Phil Foden misses out. But I'm signing off. This is Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.